Live from Southern Colorado's news leader, this is News First 5 at 10.
It's basically like a small river in Academy.
Wild weather tonight across El Paso County, rain, hail, and flooding.
And the conditions cause a horse trailer to hydroplane and crash. The horses let loose on the interstate.
Up in Denver, severe turbulence forces a jet to make an emergency landing. Passengers are injured.
Very busy night out there. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Quirk.
And I'm Lisa Leiden. We are covering all angles of this storm for you tonight. Mike Daniels is in First Alert. And News First 5's Jeanette Hines and Andy Cohen live in Colorado Springs.
And first we want to check in with Andy along Academy, where the water got so deep there. Andy, the road had to be closed. People actually rescued from their cars there.
Yeah, that's right, Rob. The heavy deluge of rainwater actually overpowered storm drains along this section of Academy, flooding the intersection in as much as 3 feet of water. Beneath this pond of water is Academy Boulevard.
It's basically like a small river in Academy.
It was insane. The rooster tails, you couldn't hardly see 3 feet in front of you.
The heavy downpour overwhelmed storm drains and flooded the street right in the middle of rush hour.
We have water at least 3 feet deep through this intersection and past.
Water that high and as fast as it can be moving, depending on where you're driving, you can just sit there and stall the car out and wash it away.
The fire department closed Academy until the water could all drain. For at least 2 drivers, it was too late. They were driving minivans when they got stuck.
Luckily, we had a tow truck driver stop and was able to pull those vans out. There was kids in both vans and occupants. We were able to get them out and nobody was hurt.
Yeah, it was scary. I had pulled over for a little while, so it wasn't raining that hard, I don't think. I don't know, maybe kind of.
The intersection has flooded before, but never like this.
As you can see, the water swirling over there. It is draining. It's just there was such a large volume of water. The system wasn't able to handle this much water coming through.
And within an hour, the water had cleared. It's something to keep in mind during flash flood season. It only takes 6 inches of fast-moving water to float a car. Andy Cohen, News First 5.
Thanks, Andy. Flooding on the main floor of a Colorado Springs assisted living facility means residents had to be moved to upper floors. That was just another one of the problems related to all the high water in Colorado Springs. News First 5's Jeanette Hines is live now to show us more damage from this downpour.
Lisa, the problems were all over the city, all over the county. They came quickly and they left no one, including ourselves, dry.
The rain comes fast and furious across southern Colorado. At Powers and Bradley, pea-sized hail hits the ground and quickly moves across an empty field. The rain comes so quickly, our brief stop for video turns into a mini rescue mission. Our news truck is stuck in soggy mud and slides away from the road. One woman's basement in Colorado Springs has nearly 3 feet of water in it. A pump works to pull out the water. On this fence, you can see how high the water rose. City crews are cleaning out storm drains, but one man says they're coming too late.
The city just will not pay any attention to these drains, and this is a low spot. And it puddles up right here whenever we get a real rain.
The Winslow Court retirement community on San Miguel finds its own weather problems, with water pouring through several doors.
In the fire department and our staff, we were able to get them up the stairs and into their apartments into a safe, secure area.
Out front, the lawn looks more like a pond than a field of grass.
We would like to thank Terry Chappelle, who took the time during this big downpour to stop, go get his truck, and pull us out of that ditch. Reporting live in Colorado Springs, Jeanette Hines, News First 5.
High and dry tonight. Thanks, Jeanette. Well, a chaotic scene along I-25 as that storm blew through. A horse trailer and car collide. It ended with 2 horses on the interstate and traffic at a near standstill for nearly an hour and a half. News First 5's John Romero continues our coverage.
A fast and violent storm swept through Colorado Springs, causing a makeshift stock show on I-25.
There was so much rain that dropped in such a short period of time, the road was unable to drain the rain.
According to firefighters, the driver of this car hydroplaned during the storm in front of this large horse trailer, causing the driver to slam on her brakes.
The trailer jackknifed and the horses were thrown around.
2 horses, one of them pregnant, were taken out of the trailer and onto the road, severely backing up traffic. Luckily, nobody was hurt in the accident, including the horses.
One horse had a cut to the chest, and the other horse is pretty remarkably unhurt.
Reporting in Colorado Springs, John Romero, News First 5.
I'll tell you, an amazing night. Take a look. This was hours earlier, just before that major wave moved through. That's Powers Boulevard on the east side of the Springs. Dangerous conditions everywhere. That's Platt and Powers. Just about 7 o'clock tonight. As you can see, the water, or the road, covered in water there.
Our weather may be to blame for severe turbulence that forced a United flight to make an emergency landing up at DIA. United Flight 967 was headed from Washington to LA. When it hit terrible turbulence, the pilot made an emergency landing in Denver. 21 people taken to 5 Denver area hospitals, at least 1 with serious injuries. Now, this picture was taken inside the triage area that was set up inside the terminal as passengers were being evaluated minutes after landing. All total, 255 people were on board that jet. Plenty of hail to go with this severe weather. Jessica took this one in the Pine Creek area of Colorado Springs.
And Debbie snapped off a photo of this one out by Schriever Air Force Base. You can see plenty of hail there as well.
Our own Andy Cohen with another look at that street flooding. It closed down Academy for a time right there by the Citadel Crossing.
And here's one from Amber. And that's of the storm approaching before we got hammered. And she took this from Meridian Road out in Falcon.
Mike Daniels, of course, has been tracking this storm all evening. And Mike, you say more to come?
Lisa, I've been watching another round of thunderstorms push off the mountains tonight, headed for El Paso County. In fact, the west side of Colorado Springs, western El Paso County, already getting another round of rainfall. Certainly not what we need after getting those heavy flooding rains earlier. It was a storm of legendary proportions across portions of southeastern Colorado, especially southeast side of the Springs. And you can see the rain continues tonight. Have that flash flood warning active until 10:30 tonight for south central El Paso County. Let me zoom in on that round of thunderstorms pushing off the higher elevations. Good rains right now from Monument all the way down approaching Manitou Springs, Chipeta Park. That cell just moved through your area. That line of thunderstorms stretches all the way back to Cripple Creek, and the storms are moving southeast. So if you're in the Springs and you don't have rain yet, you will within the next 30 to 45 minutes, depending on your neighborhood. Get you real close to that stuff. Again, you can see it's moving into the west side of Colorado Springs right now, and with all the saturated soil we've got, all that water is just going to run off and create more flooding. Also, some very heavy thunderstorms dropping heavy rain right now along highways 96 and 50, Haswell, Eads, Los Animas out to Lamar. Those storms just aren't moving, so we're going to see some real problems on some of the roadways. Already had some flooding around the La Junta area. Here's that storm report. East side of Colorado Springs had some very heavy rain, 1.5 inches of rain in just 50 minutes. Obviously, the storm drains can't absorb that much water in such a short period of time. That's why we saw all the flooding. Briargate, a wind gust at 71. The Air Force Academy, hurricane force winds with the thunderstorms at 79 miles per hour. Rye and north of Woodland Park, 1.7 inches of rainfall. Black Forest had the quarter hail and again flooding in and around the La Junta area. Tomorrow for starters in the Springs, cloudy skies, 68 degrees. Very humid throughout the day tomorrow. Another round of thunderstorms by 5 p.m. In Pueblo, 71 degrees. Cloudy skies at 7 a.m. Humid in mid-80s by noon, and thunderstorms possible for the drive at 5. Another round of monsoon thunderstorms possible tomorrow across parts of southeastern Colorado. Heavy rain and flooding. All the soil that's already saturated won't absorb any more water, so everything will just flood and run off as it continues to drop that heavy rain on our area. So flash flooding a possibility again tomorrow in our area. Details on that in a 7-day first alert forecast coming up. Lisa?
Okay, thanks, Mike. A Fort Carson soldier critically injured by a lightning strike is recovering.